Brickwork, masons, masonry, all that sort of stuff, right? That's what we're talking about today. No, not 33rd level secret masons that own the global cabal. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a game about bricks. That's right. Porta Nigra. Porta Nigra is a game from Stronghold Games in the Great Designer Series, Volume 1. It's an older game. That's what the latest retro is all about. It's about doing new and old games. So I'm Bryan Drake, here on the Dice Tower with the latest retro, taking a look at Porta Nigra. Let's look right now how this game plays, what it is, and should you go back and try this Series 1 entry into this right now. So, Porta Nigra, Great Designer Series Volume 1. Looks a little bit like this one set up. Kind of like this. This is the setup here. So visually impressive with these nice little stacked bricks, but maddeningly slow to set up. It's actually kind of a pain sometimes to set that up. But you'll notice there are cards over here. There are cards over here. The bricks are in the middle, and your avatar, your master builder, goes on one of the 4 quadrants. Notice the cities are broken up into quadrants. These are the cards that tell you how to refill the brick market here, and the way that works is when there's lower than 7 bricks in there at any point, you'll fill them up until there's 14. You flip this over, it'll be this. It says, put one in these quadrants, and that's it. With those, the 4 different quadrants are basically the same type of thing. You're going to be doing the same thing the entire game. In the 3-player and 4-player game, it's played over 2 rounds. In a 2-player game, it's played over 3 rounds. Also, in a 2 and 3-player game, you'll get a special card that you won't get in the other rounds, just so you know. So, how does the game work? Well, there are 2 phases. One is the refill phase, in which you check these cards and you check the bricks, and then you refill appropriately. If you were to buy one of these cards from over here, it won't refill until the refill phase. If you were to get one of those cards over there, also it won't refill until the refill phase. So, the way the game mainly works is you will get your hand of cards here. You will use all of them during the round, and that's actually how you know when the round's over, is when everyone's played their last card. But what you do is you shuffle them up, and you deal 2 cards to yourself. You get to look at the 2 that you want, and then you get to perform actions based on the actions listed on the card. However many torches are at the bottom is how many actions you get to perform, unless you have a torch token, which will allow you to place it on one of the other ones that you have not covered. That's a pretty neat little thing as well. You'll start with $20 because bricks are expensive. And let's go through the actions, basically the different actions that are on the cards here. Now, this is not all of them. I'll show you what all the actions are, but basically we'll go over these 2 here. So 3 of the actions on this card of the 5 that you can do. You can get $5. You can get a scroll, which will let you take these influence actions over here, which we'll go through those in a minute. This means that you can build, is what this one means, where the guy is stacked on top of it. This is take yellow bricks from the brick market, take a single yellow brick from the brick market, and notice under there, it means if the yellow one is empty, you can also move to another place and take a random color, whichever color you want. Not random, but a color that you want. So that's the actions on here. Let's talk about, they're basically the same thing. I just want to make sure that I'm showing you all the things, all the assortments of the different actions, but those are the main things. This is the only one that's different. Is this is get a torch. Now also, if you don't spend all of your actions, let's just say that I only did 2 on here. For every torch you have unspent, you get a coin. Also, you can trade in, it's on your player board here, you can trade in certain things for coins. So any unspent torches or a torch token can be traded for a coin. 2 influence tokens will let you build. 2 influence tokens will also give you another Roman. You start with 5 of your Romans, which are these little wooden components over here. If you don't have a Roman to put on top of a stack when you build, you then couldn't build. So also, white ones are wild. They can be used for anything. Notice that the costs are on your player board as well. So black bricks, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. That matters because that's also the cost to buy these bricks. So let's talk about buying bricks right now. So if you did the action that was buy red bricks, now I'm currently standing here. Notice though on the board, these arrows are pointing in a clockwise fashion. So I couldn't just move my master builder to the red market and pay a coin, because there's a coin in between each quadrant. I would have to move all the way around, 1, 2, 3. So it cost me 3 coins to even get here. Then, however many red bricks I want to buy also is limited by the amount that are there, is 1 at a time based on this action. So if I moved, I could buy 1 red brick. Well, then I could buy a second one with that action there. Red bricks cost $3, so total for this entire turn, for the 2 red bricks and the movement, I'm out $9. Well then, let's just say I wanted to move again. over to this area, the Coliseum looking area, and build here with 2 red bricks, I would move. My third action, I would use this, and I would take the 2 red bricks that I've already purchased, and basically they're the same color because where you put them determines what color they actually are. So these are red bricks now. They'll sit here in my little player area. When I build, I'll put them out where I want to build, and then I'll put my Roman on top of them, and then that denotes what I have built. So this was 2 red bricks in this area here. It's worth 7 victory points right now. So you'd go ahead and get the victory points on the track. This is one of those great boards that's circular, so no matter where you're sitting, you're always looking at the right side. I really like that. I believe it's Michael Menzel. So then what you'll do is you'll check to make sure from the building cards over there that you completed one of them if you did. Basically it means that you place any amount of bricks in the location of the color listed on a building card. So for this one, you would need to place a white brick down here in this section. You would need to build a white brick there. This one's also a black one in that section. This is a white one in the Porta Nigra section here. This is a red one in Porta Nigra. So we just built red bricks in the Coliseum looking area. Well, there are none over there, so we don't get a card for doing that. There are other colors. Obviously, you'll see that if I'd have built yellow here, I'd have taken this card. Now, these work like set collections in the science set collections in Seven Wonders. Basically, the more of these you have, the more points they're worth. So if I have a set, but it's the different one. So if I have a set of all 4 building types, like this, at the end of the game they're worth 20. Well, also you'll notice down here that you can get free set ones just for having the, if you spend 2 of the hold on, some of these are over here, somebody snuck in, I knew that was the case. Anyway, you'll notice this one, if you spend for 2 influence actions, you can get just a free Porta Nigra building spot to add to your total. However, there's also ones like this that say for 2 influence tokens and all 4 of your set, you can cash those in for 30 points instead of 20. Well, then also you'll notice there's one of these that says you can cash in your 30-point card for a 42-point card. There's also one that says you can cash in your 42-point card. I believe it's for 56 points. So it's a lot of different ways to get points through just side things. Now let's talk about the main scoring mechanism for the end of the game. So you'll notice in the 4 corners there are rules for majority scoring, and this is where the most points come from at the end of the game. Basically, this is row A, row B, and row C. You'll see it listed here, A, B, C. You'll do majority scoring. The person with the most bricks in row A gets 15 points. Second place is 7. Ties go to their friendly split if they can't be broken based on brick value. What that means is if I have 4 on white and someone has 4 on yellow, I actually win that because the value of my bricks is more. It does the same thing if you're in row B. It's 10 points for first, 5 for second. C is 5 and then 2. Over here, this one is row A is 12 for first, 6 for second. Row B is 12 for first, 6 for second. So they're the same. They're also just 2 layers of the same thing, whereas these are kind of lower in value. These are the same all the way around. The river over here, this one, the wall kind of looking thing, it is basically just max. So the person who has the most bricks on this side is 20 points. So the second place is 10. That one's pretty straightforward. Porta Nigra is a little bit different. The way this one works is for the brick value listed. So for the stack of 8, let's say however many people have the most valuable stack of 8, you get 37. Second place is 18. So if I have 8 white, somebody has 8 yellow, I would get 37, they would get 18. And it just goes down for each stack value. So then we score 7s, then we score 6s, then we score 5s, then we score 4s, and then 3s are the lowest, obviously. So that's how that works. It's kind of a weird, wonky scoring, but that is how you score. The only other thing you can get points for is at the end of the game, components you have are worth different victory points. Every 3 coins is a victory point. Every torch, every Roman you have left, every brick you have left is a victory point as well. And so there are tons of ways to get points during the end of the game based on these majorities. So it becomes pretty cutthroat. And that's how you play Porta Nigra right there. So that's Porta Nigra in a nutshell. It's actually a very simple game. You've got your actions on your cards that you might or might not get depending on when you deal those cards out. You look at your hand, your 2 cards, you make the best choice for that turn. You go around, you buy, you spend money, you build bricks, you build the tallest bricks, you build the most bricks. The idea is to do area control in 4 different areas and have angry fights about who took whose brick and why. Why did you take my brick? And why did you build there? I was going to build there. No, I was saving my points to get those 24 points for the 4 different white bricks, but no, you decided to build there and you're a terrible, horrible human being. But that's what the game is all about. Not being terrible human beings, of course, that already happens naturally, right? But the idea is that you are building better brick buildings than other people. Now let's talk about components. First and foremost, those plastic bricks are fantastic. Now my question is, we were trying to do the math on this the other day, is why they're blank and you get to decide. And we were trying to figure out if there was ever a scenario when you would have more of one type of brick in the game, but the idea is those cards are only limited. There's only about 7 of those cards that refill the stack of bricks. So we were trying to figure out if there was a reason other than cost. I mean, cost I get. But we were wondering if we could just paint the bricks. If there was a certain amount, we could just paint them to say, well, this is a red brick. This is a, just to know, to where it look a little bit different. But we were curious about that. But either way, fantastic looking little modeled 3D stackable bricks. It looks great. That could have been done with tiles, but it's not. It's done with 3D stackable, fantastic bricks. So well done, Stronghold Games on that. Now, then there's the wooden components. Those are great. Board by Michael Menzel. You can't ask for a whole lot more with that. Fantastic looking game all the way around. When you look at it, it's gorgeous. It's one of those boards that no matter which side you're sitting on, you're still looking at it from the right side. I love that. And it's not possible to do that on all games, I understand, but it's pulled off so fantastically well. In this game, great job there. Let's talk about the two-player game. Two-player game plays in 3 rounds. It's a little bit shorter, obviously, than you would think when you've played the 4-player game and 3-player game, but it's still long. And that's my only gripe about this, is by the end of the round, certain things get to a point where you only have 1 or 2 cards left, and there's only a few bricks left out there. There's just over the limit to where they refill, and it's not the ones you need. And granted, if the ones you need are out, you can go there, but by the card you have, you can't necessarily get the brick you need. There's a certain time where it feels like you can't do a whole lot or do what you need. Like I was building my strategy the last time we played around this one concept, this one idea that was going to be great, it was going to pay off, and then I don't know, something happened with the card I needed, or something happened or I just wasn't able to do it by one action. I was short by one thing, and so it shorted me by a few points, but it was my fault. Obviously, you would say, well, just mitigate that by doing something else. But just know that ahead of time, that the 2-player game is played in 3 rounds, and that feels a little bit long to me, but you kind of have to do it in order to get the most points out there. Now, we did notice we scored more in a 2-player game because there's less people to compete with, but 3-player, 4-player games playing in 2 rounds it doesn't sound like it's going to be long, but it actually is, because everyone plays through every single one of their cards with all of their actions, and then they go, oh wait, no, I'm going to use my scrolls here to do this influence action, which will allow me to do this, and I can combo it to this influence action. Now I've got another torch from that. So it kind of can get a little bit longer and longer and longer, but it is a really fun game, and I recommend you try it out. It's good. It's not too heavy. Like, you don't need a super deep amount of strategy to play this game. It's pretty simple. You build, you buy, you move, you pay your money. It's really easy with that. So that's it in a nutshell. Again, I'm Bryan Drake with The Latest Retro here. Make sure to follow us on the Twitter at The Latest Retro, or check out our Patreon, which is right here. The link is here to go there if you want to throw a few bucks at us to continue doing this crazy content. Until next time, I'm Bryan Drake. We'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.